Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be giving an in-depth review on my stunning Audi S3. So in the first video we ever posted on this channel, we did a review of Junaid's Cupra Leon 245. But unfortunately today my lovely co-host is not here, so I'm going to have to film this on my own in a slightly different format to usual. And I look like a complete idiot right now. So I really hope you appreciate this. But yeah, onto the car. So starting from the front, as you can see, I got a 67 plate. And I got that number specifically, which is something I'll go into a bit later in the video. So honestly, I'm quite surprised that this is the only thing I forgot. I would have expected myself to forget a lot more than this. But I did forget to actually talk about this later in the video, so I'm just going to chuck this in now quickly while we're here. So the reason I got a 67 plate, and shout out to a good friend of mine who helped me through this process, you know who you are if you're watching this video. The 67 plate, the 17 plate, and the 18 plate are really the only Audi S3s I would highly recommend. And the reason for that is because they're the only ones that really give you the proper pops and bangs. The other ones have a lot of sound regulations on them and they just don't sound quite as good. The older ones, I would honestly not be too afraid of. Those are still pretty decent and I like the shape. The newer ones, however, and I actually test drove a brand new 2022 Audi S3 for myself when I was looking at these cars. I was thinking of getting a brand new one and I drove it and it's boring as hell. It's so calm, so controlled, no aggression, no excitement.
There is no passion, there is no vision, there is no aggression.
It's really comfortable, it's very executive, but it feels like I'm driving a car for an old man. It's not fun at all. There is no sound, it sounds awful. The engine is strong, but it accelerates progressively and it doesn't shoot you off the line and throw you back in your seat. It's very calm and controlled and I find it so boring. So I would say, honestly, stay away from the new Audi S3s. I think they've actually reduced the horsepower from 310 down to 300 as well. They are very boring. I don't recommend it personally. 17, 67, 18, that's the sweet spot. Go for it. But as you can see, we've got lovely black accents all around here, all around the grille, all around the lights, and this grille down here, and around the mirrors as well. All these black accents are part of the black pack. So I got that specifically because I just personally think it looks better than the chrome. And on top here, I have this lovely sunroof, which to be honest is more of a panoramic roof. But from the front, I just think the car has such an aggressive look. And I think it's such a presence on the road. A lot of people call this a sleeper car, which to be honest, I don't really understand because I think it looks aggressive. And if we move on to the side here, you can see in the rims I have the red brake calipers, which again, just make the car look a lot more sporty. So honestly, I've never really understood why people call this a sleeper car, because to me, it looks fast, and it is. So if we look a bit more into the actual bodywork itself, you have these lovely ridges here along the bonnet, which just give it more of an aggressive look. And down the side, this crease runs all the way down the side, all the way through the back and connects to the back lights, which I absolutely love. You have some skirts down here at the bottom and another crease down there, which runs along both of the doors. And I think the whole look is just really sleek and aggressive. The rims on mine are 18 inches, so you can get the 19 inches, which has to come with the magnet ride. Obviously, I got this car secondhand, so I didn't decide the exact spec, but other than the 19-inch rims, my car is pretty much fully spec'd out. I think I would have liked the 19s, but I'm quite used to these. And you get a bit more efficiency out of them as well. And they're a little bit faster. But if we move on to the back is probably my favorite view of this car, if I'm being completely honest. The quad exhausts, as you can see, I personally think look a lot better than the dual oval exhausts of the RS3. So if you've ever seen an RS3, you'll know the difference. I honestly don't know why they did that. I don't know if it's for performance, for sound, for whatever, but I think these look a lot better. And they're surrounded by this lovely diffuser, which, to be honest, I don't know if it does anything, but it looks cool. If you actually look at the back itself, though, I think the whole car just flows really nicely. The way it comes out and wide, it has this really nice stance. And the car is already pretty low to the ground, although I'm considering getting it lowered a little bit. But yeah, from this angle, I just think the whole car looks beautiful, to be honest. So while I walk around the car one more time, I just want to talk about this gorgeous blue color. So I saw this online, and I'm quite a boring person when it comes to cars. I was always thinking black, silver, blah blah blah, and I saw the blue and I was a bit hesitant, and then I saw it in real life and I just fell in love immediately. This color is absolutely beautiful, and it looks so much better in person than it does in video, and even in videos I think it looks amazing, to be honest. I don't know why I was sort of weary of it at the start, but I get a lot of compliments for this blue. So this is actually the most special color for this car. It's called Aura Blue, and it's the most expensive option, but it's definitely worth it. I think it looks stunning. But anyway, moving on to the boot. So this boot is actually 325 litres, or if you get the saloon version of the S3, that's 340 litres, which is a little bit more, but nothing too crazy. I think this is a little smaller than the Golf R, but it does the job. I mean, in a car like this, you're not going to be doing massive trips to the airport with loads of suitcases or anything like that. I just have my gym bag and 2 bags filled with Audi goodies for washing my car, keeping the seats clean, etc. I actually had to live out of this car for about a month, and I was carrying loads of stuff with me. I had the seats down and it was piled, but honestly I had even more space than I needed. I didn't think I'd be able to fit it, but I could comfortably. So this car has way more practicality than you'll ever really need. So it's got a little pocket in here with a 12 volt socket down there, so that's awesome. It's got a bunch of hooks, fixed anchor points, more hooks, some anchors down there and here as well, where I have this Audi netting that just sort of keeps everything contact when I drive and stops it all from falling and rattling around, which I used to find really annoying in my last car. And then in here, there's, I mean, I guess you could use it as a storage area if you really want. I probably wouldn't advise it, but that's where you can keep the nuts and bolts and stuff when you're trying to change your tyres. It's got a little light as well, if you're ever needing to open it in the dark. And then, yeah, this load cover is really nice and easy to use, and it's really practical, honestly. And then down here, you don't have much space because of the Audi Quattro. You're never really going to need to open that. It's just got a very simple cone, so that you can put it around if you have an accident, and a jack and a high-vis jacket, but you definitely don't get a spare wheel. That Audi Quattro diff really takes up all of the space down there, so it's a little bit unfortunate, but overall, like I said, you get more than enough with this boot. So before we actually step on into the car, I just wanted to show you this cool little feature, the way the lights go across the bar as you unlock it. I know it's quite a common thing in cars nowadays, but it's still cool to me. So if we actually step on into the car here, the first thing you can see is that there are red accents absolutely everywhere. Red accents on the seats, red accents down here in the stitching, red accents even in the gear, red accents along the seats, and you have your little S badge here. So sitting inside this car is honestly a lovely place to be. It's a really small car, so you feel really cocooned within the entire cockpit itself. You have this actually quite small steering wheel, but it's small, it's solid. It's a really nice little perforated texture on the side, and the flat bottom, which I absolutely love. I like to just keep my hand in there while I drive most of the time, just cruising around. And then Audi have this absolutely amazing virtual cockpit, which I couldn't go without. That was a feature I absolutely had to have in my car. So I'll show you a bit about that later. When you turn the screen on, this pops up. So if you look in the back here, there's not a ton of space, but there's more than enough. I've had 5 people in this car comfortably. The seats back there, obviously the red stitching and everything. And I've heard that it's comfortable. There's actually a surprising amount of headroom back there. And the windows go all the way down, which is really nice as well. So next thing is the view you get above you in this lovely panoramic roof. The only bad thing is that this thing is manual and you have to slide it, but it's not the end of the world. It also doesn't cover the entire thing. It's more of a soft, I don't even really know the point of it, to be honest. I guess it's to stop the sun from being directly on you if you have it open or something, but I do use it from time to time. If you have this open and you have this closed, it just flaps about and it's quite annoying. But it's a useful little thing. If we actually turn on the car now and hear how it sounds. Oh, by the way, you do have to plug in the key. It's not keyless start, which is good and bad. It's good because a lot of people struggle to put their key somewhere and it just ends up flying around while they drive. But it's annoying because when it's there and these little key rings dangle and they hit my knee while I drive, which can be really irritating, but it's not the end of the world. So if I just turn on the electronics now, you'll see everything pop up. You see the screen turn on, the little screen pops up and everything. If I just go through the views here, just to give you an example, you can change whether you want the dials to be the focal point or the actual screen itself. You can change between the phone if it's connected, and you can change to the maps and everything. It's pretty cool. I'll go into detail about that in another video, but just as a starters. So one thing I'd like to do is I configured this button so it actually changes the driving modes. So if you see, if I press this on this screen, it will come up with the driving mode. So efficiency, comfort, auto, and dynamic. And when you chuck it in dynamic, it makes a bit of an aggressive noise when you start up. So let's hear if you can hear anything. Yeah, got some nice pops there. Don't know if it will pick up on the video, but I really hope it does. So sitting here in dynamic, you can hear it idling a lot louder than it would do if you were in another mode. And it definitely is the mode you want to be in if you ever want to rev it and get some pops and bangs. I'll throw some examples of that in here now because I don't want to do it where I am. People are going to get very pissed off. So just a couple more of the features in this car. You have your basic sticks for your front and back wipers, and luckily this car does have rear wipers, which is really useful. You have these really tiny little paddle shifters here, which honestly, they're so small it's not even really worth using. I honestly prefer to chuck this in into Tiptronic mode and flip it up and down. I find it more fun, but I do use the paddles every now and then. Then down here you have the cruise control stick, which is really nice to use when you're driving on the motorway, just cruising along, but every car has cruise control nowadays. So down here for the climate control, you have these buttons, which is a lot more satisfying than touch. A lot of people like touchscreen now. I really don't. I prefer these physical buttons. It's a lot easier and it's just one tap when you want to do things. It's a lot safer when you're driving, I think, to just quickly pop a button and turn it up, as opposed to going through a screen, going to a setting, going to another setting, and then sliding it up and down, blah, blah, blah. Here you have your traction control, which has to be off if you want to launch the car. This button right here sends the screen up and down, which is very fun to use if you're bored and just sitting waiting in traffic. This button controls whether you want the parking sensors to be on or not. So this car has a rear camera, which is really nice. Actually, I'll give you an example right now. So if I put the car into reverse, you'll see the camera come on. And I honestly really find this useful. In my last car, I didn't have a camera or sensors, so this is amazing. It's got sensors all around the car, so no matter what you're close to on the sides, on the front and the back, it will beep at you like crazy if you're anywhere near anything, which is super useful. And here is for the automatic stop start of the car. So in this car, if this is on, when you stop at a traffic light, the car will turn off this engine. A lot of people actually don't like that feature, so you can just turn that off so that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, this slides out, it's nothing too crazy. You got a pretty decent glove box. It's not too bad. You have these door bins, got to have your tissue papers just in case. These door bins are pretty big actually. They can fit quite a lot of stuff. You can comfortably fit a big bottle in there, which is surprising for such a small car. These seats are super comfortable. I've gone for hours and hours in this car and honestly never had any problems. I don't know how to show you this, but there's a lumbar support. I don't know if you can see this button here, but this is lumbar support for the car. So for somebody that works out and often has lower back soreness, this is really nice when I'm having a long drive. This lever down here makes the car go lower or higher. I have it in its lowest setting right now, and it's not super low. There are cars that are lower, but it's good. I like this position personally. I don't like to be any lower than this. I feel like I'm more a part of the actual car at this sort of height, so I'm happy with this. But if you want your car to go super low into the ground like Junaid's car does, then maybe it's not going to be ideal, but for me it's good. This slides out if you want it to, so you can rest your elbow on this while you drive, which is a really useful feature. It's got a decent amount of space down here, nothing crazy. Some cup holders which can fit actually some pretty big bottles. They don't look like it, but they can, and they hold it in well so they don't rattle about. You have your little 12-volt socket down here. The only bad thing about this car, if I had one complaint, is the fact that it doesn't have wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So I have to plug it in with this cable when I want to use Android Auto, which is a little bit annoying, but I mean, it charges at the same time, so it's not the end of the world. And if you actually look down here, so this is actually a wireless charging spot. So if your car supports wireless charging, you just chuck it flat in there and you can charge it, which is really cool, because I'll have people who want to charge their phone while I'm using this, and they'll put their phone down there, I'll put mine on top of theirs, and we're all good to go. One other cool little feature down here is we have this little hidden space. I mean, I don't really know what you'd use it for. Maybe some change or something. I mean, I don't personally, so if you want to come and rob me, then good luck, you're not going to find anything. But another 12-volt socket and some climate controls down here. Also, there are ISOFIX anchor points here. If you have a child and you want to use a child seat, they're really easy to find, and they have them in the back as well, just under those clips, all really easy to use. So one thing I did actually forget to mention, and I don't know how, because it's honestly one of my favorite parts of this whole car, but these Bang & Olufsen speakers are incredible. They are everywhere, here, in the sides, in the roof, all over the back, everywhere, and they sound unreal. I have been in cars a lot more expensive than this one that don't sound half as good as this. Honestly, quite a few friends have sat in this car, we've played some loud music, and they get blown away every single time. They sound amazing. I drive around listening to music all the time if I'm not listening to that beautiful exhaust. But anyway, moving on to the last part of the car, and probably the most important. Let's have a look at this glorious engine. So this bonnet is super easy to open. It's just a little clip right here. You can get it first time every time. And it has a gas strut, which is really nice for a car of this price point, to be honest. It's really useful. So if we have a look at this beautiful 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo, I quite like this load cover. It's nothing crazy, it looks quite nice, but yeah, this little 2-litre packs 310 horsepower, which honestly in a car, it's not super light, but at 1.5 tons it's not heavy either, and it rockets it pretty quickly. I think the fastest I've gotten out of this car in a 0 to 60 is around 4.2 seconds, and it's completely stock, so that's quite impressive. This little engine packs a punch. So that about does it for my review of this car. I'm not going to do any driving in this video, but I definitely will in the next one, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you have enjoyed this different format. I mean, I prefer personally recording Junaid speaking. I think it's more personal and I think it's better, but whenever we are separate, we can do this. As long as you guys like it, we'll keep doing it. But yeah, if there's anything else you'd like to know about the car, either tell me. If it's big enough, I'll do another video, or if it's a simple question, I'll happily answer it down below in the comments. But please like, comment, remember to subscribe. If you want to see a review on Junaid's Cupra Leon 245, click on the first video we ever uploaded. It's not doing too badly actually, it's doing a lot better than we thought, so yeah, we're happy to upload whatever videos you guys want in the future. Please just let us know, and take care.